Welcome to another episode of our environmental talk show that we have it always every Wednesday here at UCTV. You know that right now we are powered by the management of UCTV and other partners like Caritas, but also we welcome other people to come on board. And this is a beautiful day that I have still my guests who are wonderful, who are going to digest a lot of things concerning our topic of today. And before introducing our topic of today, I need to tell you that we are in the preparation of the UN SDG run this year. That is going to be in October 24th, and we are organizing this big and better. Last year we had over 20,000 people in Kololo, but this time we are targeting 50,000 people in Kololo, and we are calling everyone to need to participate in this run. You know that we have only 6 years for us to meet the agenda of the UN, that's the Sustainable Development Goals, and we are going to reach your schools, we are going to reach in your community, and we are going to have a lot of engagement, even the national dialogue on SDG, that's Sustainable Development Goals. And that's the reason why you need to follow us for more updates, for very many things that we are doing here. I told you that environmental dialogue is not only discussion, but is engagement with the community, that we touch life, and we will always reach to every part of this country, even up to the globe. We will reach there with this show, because we need to communicate to the people who are doing something, and they need to get our message right. All right then, let me go back. Today I have my wonderful guest. Arthur is back with us again, and I have today Patricia. Patricia is our first time to be with us on the show, and I need to give them time to introduce themselves and say something about themselves before we introduce the topic of discussion for today. Patricia, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Dickens. My name is Namubiru Patricia, a student of Makerere University Business School, pursuing a bachelor's degree in international business, and currently the president, Pan-African Women's Organization, Makerere University Business School chapter. Yes, that is all I can tell for now. You have
heard from her how she's holding a big office, not only doing international business for only doing business, but she's looking how she can also do business in the environment, especially bring out the concept of the green enterprise. I know you understand that concept very well, and those are the young people we have who are doing something, changing our environment, at least adding value, not only just taking away from the environment, but they are trying to practice sustainable practices so that the youth, the young people can embrace and apply it in our environment. All right, then let me again come back to Arthur. Arthur, you're most welcome. Speak to the viewers.
Yes, thank you, our moderator today. Yes. And good morning, our listeners. Good morning, our viewers across this country. I know everyone is watching in from everywhere in this country, and it's an opportunity and a humble one to be back here. My name is Sanyu Arthur Blick, and I take the privilege of leading an organization called Anchors for Youth Afrika, a youth organization that works for and with the young people. It's a pleasure always. As an invitation comes in, we shall always participate in these dialogues. Thank you so much, Dickens.
All right. Arthur will always be here speaking to us, discussing, digesting everything that's happening across this nation. He will always be there. He has promised that he will always be whenever we need him, and we'll be moving with him to discuss this, because his art is really for the mother nature. All right, today our topic is urbanization at its impact on the environment. As you know that the UN were predicting that by 2050, that 60% of people will be living in urban area. With this 60% of the people living in this in urban area or urban setting, will not cause a very big problem to our environment, because we are looking and our attention is really into our environmental issue. That's the reason why it's a matter of discussion. It's a matter that we need really to know that we need to be prepared for what is coming, because right now the UBOS report says that there are over 5 million people in the city of Kampala. And remember that the city of Kampala was designed for only 1 million people. But we don't know what's happening. That now they have reached 5 million people. Will these 5 million people be a problem to us? As we know that right now, if you go in a city, even you find traffic that you need to push someone for you to pass. So with all this is happening in our city, will it not be a very big problem to our environment? And that's the reason why we are here to discuss it, to digest, to explore all this. So welcome, my dear Patricia. Yeah, and I know that with this really that we are trying to explore and coming up with solution, sustainable practices for our city, because we don't only leave these things to the government or to the planning authority, but it's us, because the government, we are the government. That's the reason why I've called you guys. I always invite different people. Even we are going to meet different expatriates and technical people to ask them to tell us, and we share ideas how we can really overcome all these challenges that are coming on our way. And that's the reason why I'm asking you, Patricia, can you explain the current state of the urbanization in Uganda and Africa for now, with all what's happening? So let's explore this together.
Thank you so much, Dickens, for the opportunity to be here. And yes, diving right into urbanization, we cannot go into the details before knowing what it really is. Urbanization is literally the rate at which people are moving from the rural areas to the urban areas. And currently, in Uganda, it is at a very high rate, we must all agree. And in Africa, it is surpassing the levels. It is at a rate of 60% as we speak right now. Yes. And starting with Kampala, it's moving from a rate of 1.3 to 1.8 million, which people are increasingly coming into the urban areas, into the cities. We can tell that the population in Kampala are now overspiking. Currently, people are so many. The congestion, it is over exceeding Kampala, Jinja, and Mbara has become one of the cities in Uganda, and it's also having a booming urbanization as we speak right now. Going deeper into Africa in its cities like Cairo, Kinshasa, it is also having a very high rate of urbanization. And yes, there are a lot of factors why all these things are happening, and I believe we all do these things of urbanization in search of greener pastures and all the other factors that encourage people to leave the rural areas to the urban areas. The populations in Kampala right now are very high that you can ask yourself, where are we all coming from? The urbanization is really too high, and yes, that is it.
All right, Arthur, we are still seeing the current state of this urbanization in especially in our city Kampala and also other parts of Africa. Won't it be really a problem to us?
Thank you, Dickens. Won't it be, or it is already?
Really, that's so.
It is already a problem. But just add on what Patricia says. Urbanization is just the process of moving from the village to the town. And the biggest reason why people move to towns is because of services. Roads, health care, schools, better infrastructure in terms of employment. So literally people are looking for better services. And that pushes them to a place where they think they can easily access them. Now, when you come to Kampala alone, like my colleague had said, over 4 million people stay around. But do you know that at night, the people who sleep in what we call Kampala are 1.8? The others come and go. And that's why we have what we call the metropolitan. For me, where I stay in Wakiso, but when I'm talking, I am in Kampala. The places of Wakiso, the places of Mukono, here at this place as you're heading to Mukono is Seta. That's Mukono, but when you're talking, you're in Kampala.
You're in Kampala.
So you find because of the development, a city becomes much wider than what it is supposed to be.
And I'm surprised that some people from the village, even when they stay in Mukono, they say I'm going to Kampala.
And that is the urbanization.
Yeah.
Now, that alone comes with its challenges. One of them, because people drive to look for these services, there is a lot of pollution. Poor planning in terms of construction. The other day we had an issue that we were discussing. Poor waste management. People are dumping because of numbers in the city center. People have nowhere to plan. Now, that for me is the big deal.
So now, with that rapid growth, what are the environmental impacts that we are seeing right now in our city? As you say that it's really right now there is already a mess with this rapid growth.
Let me start from the most recent. We had a loss of lives because of poor waste management.
In Chitezi.
Chitezi is one, but there is Chitezi everywhere in Kampala. You go to the market street, it is Chitezi in its own. You go to downtown, it is Chitezi. You go to Owino, you can't. The other day it was raining, and that's when I saw Chitezi everywhere in all the streets. Floods, sewage was moving everywhere, and that is because people are over congesting these areas. Secondly, we have an issue with these days. There is a lot of wetland encroachment. You saw the other day there was a campaign to relocate people who had encroached Rubiji wetland.
Yeah.
Why? The town has become small for them, and all of us want to fit inside there. So there is the degradation of soil. I remember in some news sometime back they were chasing away Chinese who were reclaiming I think Lake Victoria. For us who are doing campaigns of climate change, Lake Victoria is being eaten away by people dumping a lot of kasasiro in the lake.
I've seen,
and that kills the aqua life. So in terms of the impact, it is immense. Kampala, if you've been watching news of late,
yes,
they have started showing us the safe zones. The air is so polluted that they're even alerting us. If you are living in Nigeria today, your air contamination is 97%. If you are living in Nakauka, that road that goes Natete going to Nakauka, the air is as much as polluted as it can. So the impact is across the whole town. We are getting traffic jam, the dumping of the computers, the dumping of the kasasiro, the trenches are getting filled. That's because of the rate of urbanization in our cities. So if you ask me, this should be coupled with good, proper planning. And I think that is where the mismatch is. We are planning for 20,000, we are getting 500,000. We are planning for 1 million. The other day, the Lord Mayor of KCC was saying for us, our plan can only accommodate 1.8. They are the people we know in Kampala. But in actual sense, there are over 4 million people doing business, driving cars, driving motorcycles, and in the night they are going to Chireka, they are going to Mukono, they are going to Mitiana, as far as Mitiana, and they are working in Kampala. They are going as far as Mpigi, working in Kampala.
And I was surprised with the UN report that states that over 99% of people in the city are affected with air pollution.
We can't do away with it because that's the effect of urbanization. You need to go to work. The issue I was telling you about proper planning. Now, if we had proper urban planning systems, we would have a very coordinated transport system where they say the cars, for instance, remain in Mukono, and then the trains come and pick people like the way it is doing now. But it is not enough.
It's not enough.
This train takes over 200 people, over I think 800 people. The other day I took it when I was going to watch football in Nambole. But there is a lot of populations coming from that zone, coming to work in Kampala, and they all drive. You have been on that road. You know how jammy it is. You have been on the road to Entebbe. You know how jammy it is. And but right if you had public transport, yes, school, if you had proper planned public transport system, then would have no pollution, would have minimized the accidents, would have lots of urban effects would have been averted if we had planned it much better.
But let me go back to Patricia. Patricia, we are still exploring this together. With this rapid effect you have heard from your colleague Arthur, is what he's saying, that what he was still telling us, discussing the primary effect of all these things within the city. So we need really to see that there is something done. So with all this rapid growth, what are the primary environmental impact in our what? In our society? As a student, you say you're still a student at MOBS, and you know that right now the government is encouraging universities to come up with technology innovation, and how we can avert all this which is happening in our city. So can you tell us what are these primary effects that we are seeing right now due to this rapid growth in our city?
The effects of urbanization, they're really so negative, although there are really some positive effects. As we know, everything will have a good and bad side. We have to agree that the bad side of urbanization overpowers the good side of it. That is one thing. Urbanization has increased the poor waste management systems, as he has said. Yes, we have to agree. The air pollution is immense. The noise pollution is immense. We have to agree that the congestion is hyper. Yes, and talking about urbanization, we realize that most people have left the rural areas, to the urban areas, and this is reducing the food production totals. When the people who had to grow food back in the villages leave the villages to come for better services, we are left with no one to do the farming, the subsistence farming. And here in the urban areas, we are waiting for the food to be sent to us. But who is producing the food? Yes, we are going to end up eating the fast foods. Currently, we do fast foods. Yes, but is expensive, and because of the reduction in the numbers of people who produce it, it becomes expensive. Yes, and I'm not forgetting the roads are all those things that push us to come to urban areas, but there is also poor infrastructure. We should not ignore that. You might find that the congestion would not have been there, but because the roads are bad, and if the roads were meant to accommodate 1.8, like he has said in Kampala, and they are accommodating 4 million, really, does that match? It feels like we are putting the roads on higher risk. They're also working beyond their capacity. Yes, we should say that the congestion, the food production levels are also not where they're supposed to be according to our populations. Yes, and when the numbers also spike, the services are not enough for us. Yes, you will go to a hospital and find that you're going to wait for over 2 hours when you have one doctor, but it's because of the numbers. These numbers have increased over and over time, and the service providers are also failing. Yes, even the people in offices, you find that they are disturbed by the numbers. Yes, you will end up working on 100 people a day, and you're losing your emotional balance. You are working beyond your means. Yes, you are tasked to work on 20 people a day, but the populations are high. We are very many. You need to work on over 50 people. So all these things come from urbanization, and they're really affecting us. And now let's talk about health. Health-wise, this air pollution and the poor waste disposal leaves us at a very high risk of having diseases like cholera, yes, typhoid, because of the bad water, I should say. Yes, you will have water shortage problems, mostly in Kampala. Yes, and in those town areas, we are really not sure about where they get their water from. And yes, the drainage systems are very bad. You find that in the city, when it's raining, that is when big places open their sewage tanks for the sewage to go. That's poor disposal. Yes, because the people are many. Maybe the sewage would be passing in a people-free place, but now it's passing in between our shops. It's passing in front of our homes. So every time it's raining, as a Ugandan African, you have to be ready for what's coming. The air pollution, you be like, I should look for my mask. I should go and sleep to avoid all of this. You find that it's affecting us health-wise. Some people are allergic, and there is no consideration for all of that. Yes, and we find that when this sewage is let out, it might end up in a water body, and the water body will later on transfer the water to our homes. Yes, and somehow you'll find that you have typhoid all of a sudden. Yes, and that shows that we still have a lot to do as a country, as Africa, because we have the first solution that we know what the problem is. Yes.
Wow. I've told you that my guests today really they are going deeper and deeper, except that only thing that maybe is going to limit us today is only time. But I know that I want us first to go for a short commercial break, then we shall come back with the solution for the urban, all these challenges that urbanization is causing. They are going to tell us what can we do. Should we do away with urbanization, or there is one alternative B, which is maybe if we are going to adopt the AI system to apply in urban area, or maybe there are certain technologies that we are going to use. So my guests, they are going to explore this after the break. Thank you.
UCTV, good news for all.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial star 165 star 3 hash. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Hi, my name is Flavia Kunihira. I'm the Publicity Officer for Caritas Uganda. Caritas was founded in 1958. Our mandate is to coordinate the mission of charity in the Catholic Church, effectively build the capacity of the Caritas departments in the dioceses to respond to the needs of the poor, influence government policies in favor of the poor and marginalized, as well as mobilize resources to continue serving and improving the lives of the poor in the country. Join us for Caritas Focus on UCTV.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the Sports Link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
Messi! Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Nasanga taking the shot. Look at that exceptional skill.
motorsports, boxing, swimming, and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all.
UCTV, good news for all.
Welcome back from that break. You know that we need always to first energize as we explore more and more, and that's the reason why we are back with my guests who are going to explore more on, is there the solution for this urbanization, or maybe there are other things that we can adopt, we as the people, the citizens of Uganda, because we know that in order for us to reach to that first class world, what are the things that we are borrowing? Because we see every time our ministers, the government agents go to those nations and they learn very many things. But can we adopt it? Is it really necessary for us to apply in Uganda? Because we are seeing places like Chitezi, we are seeing Dungu, we are seeing places like Luviji have been eaten up due to this effect of urbanization. So what are the solutions for this? And that's the reason why my guests are going to explore more and more. As we take a look at Kampala right now, what are the things that we can really suggest for the government? Because I see that there are a lot of things happening right now. We are seeing road construction is going on. We are seeing a lot KCCA. They are trying also to involve people in other things. So, with all this which is happening within the city, what are the solutions that you said, Patricia, that most people are now targeting leaving rural areas and coming to urban areas? And we see that now the population that we have in the city right now in Kampala is too much. As Arthur said that, the Lord Mayor said that our plan is for 1.8. But again, we are having these 4 million people. So now it means that now these 3 million people who had only, they are not planned for. It's just like going for someone's home without calling the person, and the person has only cooked for his family, for 4 people, and for you arriving and you're part of the family.
I think that's like a party where they will say the food was not enough.
Yeah, the food was. So what should we do about that? Should the government be limiting so that they put all the security people in the borders and they ask you for the reason that why are you going to Kampala? Who may be coming to Kampala? You should be using like even a visa, which is not nice. It doesn't sound nice. So what can we do really, Patricia, about all this?
About all this, I have to applaud the government first of all. I think they've really done something about it, but I think we just need to do more. Yes, because I have to believe that the government has done, but there's still more to do. Yes, I'm talking about how we can navigate through and reduce all these negative effects of urbanization. I think we should improve the waste disposal. First of all, we should improve the waste disposal. Yes, it is really alarming, and there is need for the waste and the sewage management to be like dumped off in a better way, more so in the city areas. Kampala's sewage, you will find it all over the place, all over the road. When it has rained, you have to be so sure about how you're moving. Yes, I've been in incidents where it rains and the floods are all over. The shops in Kampala, water enters the shops. I don't know how they live, or they have means that when it rains, let's jump on the floor, like let's be up here waiting for the rain. Yes, I think there should be better systems of the water flow, the sewage flow. Yes, and there is, I think, also where we can utilize the air. Yes, building skyscrapers. It's not an easy thing, but I believe there is space up there to use. Yes, the population is exceedingly high, and when we build those skyscrapers, realize that we can accommodate these numbers. Yes, the urbanization is really high. People are coming into the urban areas, and we should also applaud the businessmen who are putting up new buildings and trying to remove those small buildings and putting up the big buildings which can accommodate more people. We know that we have the refugees coming in. Yes, maybe our population is high, but there is also people coming in from their countries. Yes, maybe Kampala planned for less people, but how are we taking in the Somalis? How are we taking in the Eritreans? They've come to Kampala, they've come to Africa, and they've come to...
Patricia, with that, I saw that the government has set up refugee settlement, where these refugees, when they come to Uganda, they're supposed to go to places like Ramanja, Nakasongola, those places. So why are they leaving people just to just move in when there are specific places that they are supposed to be?
I think that gives us another solution for all this, that there should be more enforcement on the refugee plans. Yes, you have your areas. Can they really move them to their areas? Yes, because we realize it is a good cause that we are trying to have this unity. I want to speak Pan-Africanism right now. We are able to relate with everyone. Yes, we are able to relate with everyone. It is a good idea, but yes, I think that will also work for us, and the regulation of the people coming in as well. Yes, that's
okay. Let me go to Arthur. Arthur, with all taking a closer look at Kampala right now, what can we do, or what can the government do as a solution
Thank you, Dickens. But before we go to what Kampala can do, I want to highlight two things. One, there are a category of people, and I want to clarify what you guys had brought up about refugees. There is a category of people recognized by law called urban refugees, and they are documented.
Okay.
And they are known, and they are planned for. So that shouldn't be an issue. But also, in terms of universality, they are human beings looking for better services. So you can't run away from them. They are looking for better services, just like you'd leave Aru and come to Kampala. So they're also leaving the camp, coming to where their better services are. The question is, why don't we take the services there? That should be the question. Coming back to what can Kampala do? I have been following the Lord Mayor very closely, and his biggest cry has been one: we have a master plan for this Kampala. Why don't we implement it? Now, that master plan has what? The road network, infrastructure, being widened to accommodate pathways, walkways, and pedestrian ways and bicycle ways. That one will help us. You know, when you're walking on Kampala Road and there's a border here, there's a person carrying dinners here, there's a car here, there's a truck full carrying, you get.
And we saw that plan.
All of us are in that one road.
Yeah.
But if we had, and I think Madam Musisi had started it some time back. Walkways, the pedestrians knew. I'm glad there's a ring road around there. There's a flyover. So if you pass Queensway at around 7 in the evening, you can really see the impact of such infrastructure. Over 10,000 people use that upper route. Giving space for cars to move. Giving space for trucks to move. Borders. We need to have that master plan implemented. That master plan includes the use of the railway system. If we had a railway going to Mukono, we had a railway going to Bombo Road, we had a railway going to Mitiana Road, we had a railway going to Entebbe Road, Kampala in itself would be decongested. Talking about decongesting Kampala, the colonial masters of the time had planned it in a way that the administrative units cannot be put in the same place with the business unit. If we borrow our neighbors from Tanzania, there is Dodoma, there is Dar es Salaam. If they ask you which one is the capital city of Tanzania, you might not understand it because the other side is more of administrative. If you're working, should go and work from the other side. If you want to come and do business, go the other side. Here in what we see in Kampala, your office is here, your business is here, the market is in the middle of the center, the petrol station is in the middle of the center. All of us are looking for that service in one space.
One place. Yeah.
And yet, the colonial masters of the time had put Entebbe for us. All those ministries. Imagine if you picked the Ministry of Works, Internal Affairs, Agriculture, Water, and took them the other side. How many people would you be taking to Entebbe? Half of the population. Now you want a person to come and pick a permit, he goes to Kampala City. You want a person to come and check a car, he goes to Kampala City. You want someone to buy a mango, you go to Nakasero Market. We are all looking for the same services in that. Having said that, I think it's high time our government tried to do green financing. You're the one who had brought it up. We have very many initiatives that are looking at in terms of responding to the food needs, food baskets. If we encouraged our colleagues, for instance, Aya supports young people to learn how to do backyard farming. Now, backyard farming means you are going to have small, very, very easy to pick food items at the back of the house. That means you are not going to be in the jam to go to Nakasero Market to pick greens, dodo, avocado and what, because you can easily access them. Now, if we had that, talk about I'm seeing and I want to appreciate the private sector. They are venturing into renewable energies. Government of Uganda, kudos to it. They are introducing the electric vehicles. I've also seen I think there is a company that has introduced electric motorcycles.
That's Spyro.
Yeah. And they are doing a great job. We only need to purposefully focus on them so that we do away with the numbers being imported for cars which are using thermal. In that way, we are going to be fighting pollution. in that way we are going to be managing the effects of pollution, name the cancers that you have seen. By the way, Cancer Institute is one of the biggest institute that is having highest numbers of death in this country. I'm not clear with the numbers, but the number of people dying from cancer today are more than the number of people dying from AIDS today.
Yeah,
and that is a reality.
That's true.
Dying of AIDS is now more of negligence, but cancer, people are investing, but still they die. Why? Because we are exposed from left, right, and center. So if as a country, we need to have a master plan. Like we said, we plan for 2 people, we get 50 people. The services are not relating with the numbers coming in. Take an example. I heard she was applauding the people who are building skyscrapers in town. Do you realize that the infrastructure in those skyscrapers is not relating to the numbers within? For instance, the sewage system. You have planned, for instance, each shop has 1 tenant. But do you know the case now? People are combining like 6 of them to rent one place. That means if you are using water, you are going to use it 6 times. If you are using the sewage, you are going to use it 6 times. If you are managing that sewage, you should also manage it with the anticipation of 6 people. Are we having that? No. Because we are not planned. We don't have an urban plan system. We have all those laws. I remember the other time we were talking about the laws. But how do we then go beyond having the laws in place into making sure that the urban plan is implemented to the dot? That way we shall have cities. I'm grateful to this country because now they are trying to do the cities. I think they have introduced 6 more.
Yeah, 6
Gulu, Foroti, there is Fort Poto, there is Imbarara, there is now. It is a beautiful plan. Ask them, ever since they initiated them in 2021, have they gotten money to actualize the cities? No. So even as we talk now, people in the city leave the city to come to the city. And that is what we are calling urbanization. So people are leaving Soroti, they are leaving Gulu to come to Kampala. Why? The city the other side is a word, the city here is reality. So we need to carry this reality and take it to the other side. Once we take it to the other side, we will have a lot of people who were coming from that side being stopped to that side. So you'll find Kampala only managing the central region, around Mpigi, around Nakasongola, around, but the other people can get the same services. Urbanization is about services. That is the beginning. Once we have services cascaded down to these different regions, people will not. Do you know why we have a lot of borders? Because it is what is making money. People are selling the land. She talked about agriculture. We're not getting food because the people sold the land, came to the city, bought a border, and now out of the border we are having noise pollution. We have the greatest number of accidents in Mulago. Death is on the rise because we are all compacted in one place looking for one service. Which one service can
the food prices. So with that, Arthur, how can now with this city growth, how can we balance the city growth and also environmental sustainability now?
We need to have a better planning system. We need to have the early warning systems in place. Early warning system says, for instance, KCCA should have a mechanism of saying, guys, if we reach a 4 million mark, some services you will not be getting. And then people, no, that place is over congested. Let's shift and go to Mukono and build Mukono. But and then that will help us cut off the numbers that were coming from this side to that. So we don't have that it's a jungle. Secondly, we need to do a lot of infrastructure planning. For instance, I still want to believe that we can do better in terms of construction. We need plans to be better, plans that accommodate the increasing numbers, but also plans that accommodate each category of people. For instance, some organized countries, I'm not that well exposed, but I have tried to follow through. They have roads which only accommodate trucks. Roads only accommodating pedestrians. They have roads that only accommodate light vehicles. In that way, you are able to cut. For instance, have you realized that we have very many one-ways in Kampala city?
Yeah.
You go to this road, no, it is one way. So you all go back and end up passing the Chikubu. It is the only way. All of you have to go through that.
But also, Budabudas don't follow.
you know, there are too many. They can't fit in the one way. So we need to do a lot of infrastructural planning, but also in terms of financing. Our budget is so small to finance most of these things. But however small it is, we have better priorities than urbanization. We have security, we have these other things. They don't take urbanization and its threats that serious. So we need to be more intentional. We need to include waste management. Waste management, the other day we had it in detail. Kampala City, and I still want to re-echo that. Kampala City has 5 divisions. Why would we all dump in one place? Why wouldn't we have different recycling plants? The people of this side have a plant that side. The people of that side, so that we don't over congest the place and have those effects that some of the effects we have seen so far. Construction of the road network, still same. I want to still implore the government to take a deep look into the master plan that KCC has been promising us. I believe we could have a solution or two in that. Why is it that up to today we don't have the train network? What is so special with that? Having a train network around here. The other day I saw colleagues celebrating a no car day. You saw it in Kampala?
Yeah, organized by KCC.
Yeah. No car day. We need to reach a day when we are all walking. No cars. We shall not have accidents. The KCC that I remember, there was a plan to leave cars at a certain stage. A truck comes and picks you, takes you to a certain point, you access your services. Come back, pick bicycles. I saw in the city, we already have gazetted areas of bicycles. Why don't we, all of us who are suffering from obesity and pressures and why don't we ride bicycles to town? We shall have reduced a lot of congestion in terms of pollution, in terms of accidents, in terms of all the diseases that come through with that.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Arthur, for that. Where you know that really, it was really going too deep and all that. I just told you that it's only time. Going back to Patricia. Patricia, you know, right now the government is advocating for sustainability, environmental sustainability. You've seen even the renewable energy conference that right now they're organizing also. That's what they're still preaching to the community about, environmental sustainability. So with all this city growth and the rapid growth in our city, how can the government balance the city growth with the environmental sustainability?
Our government has a very big role to play, I believe, and yes, I know it can. I thought about this thing of the waste, and yes, there is recycling. I think we should go further and recycle. Yes, you know, years back we were into the End Vuvera's campaign, but somehow things failed. Yes, and
the 3 R's.
Reuse, recycle. Yes,
Arthur is very good at that. He is promoting that campaign.
It really didn't work out that much, but I applaud the areas where there are paper bags. Yes. Some schools are really adopting that. Some are not yet there, but the fact that some have started is a plus for us. Yes, we shall get there. I think the government should enforce recycling. Kampala is really doing well, and you realize that in some areas there is vegetation and you cannot go through that area, but there are really some men in black shirts. So yes, and then there is like, pass here. If they dare find you passing in the grass, yes, and there are really some areas where there are some trees, but you know, according to the population, it really doesn't match up. There need to be areas where we have a lot of trees for the rainfall we all need. Yes, I know that. But I applaud the fact that there is green in Kampala. And recently I've realized there are metallic green dustbins. I think you've seen them, yes, whereby you find KCCA, yes. That will not help so much, but it is a plus. If I'm moving with my bottles, I will be forced to place it there because it is there. Yes, I believe the government can do more of these initiatives where we shall have dumping sites. Because if I've seen the dustbin like that one over there, I would not throw things here. Yes, and it will start like that and really have a big impact later on. Yes.
Oh, thank you for that, Patricia. Oh, you have heard what my guests have been delving into. I hope like someone is getting this conversation. You know, some people sometimes they say that, you know, when you talk about the climate change conversation, it's the most boring conversation. It's because you have not interested yourself in that. Because this thing does not affect us only, the activists. It affects the rich, the poor, everyone. Over black, over yellow, over red. It affects you. So that's the reason why we always spend our time and invite these guests.
Can I before you pitch it there, I also want to recognize the fact that government has been intentional in doing what they call industrial hubs.
Yeah.
Now, and I believe that is at least one way of urbanizing a place. They have moved out of the thinking that we can only have industries in Kampala, industries in Mukono. So I want to applaud the government on that, because they have taken industrial zones to different cities, to different places, which then helps people, curb the population from moving to come and work in these industries this side, but also remain there and develop
and I've
their
seen
industries.
Mbale Industrial Park is
there
growing
are
massively.
there are many. There is Mbale, there is Soroti, there is Fort Poto. I've seen. There is there's, I don't know whether Gulu has, but they have tried, and now the only call we need to make to government is finance. We need to invest more. I still want to believe that we can do more when we have the Bubu initiative by Uganda.
Build Uganda.
That initiative is a very good initiative, but it has died on its butt. I don't know why. So we need to invest more and have a lot of these industries produce our own things. I also want to still think that Uganda Investment Authority can look otherwise instead of promoting foreign investors.
Yeah.
This is the time we promote local investors, but also zone them. If you are working from, for instance, Soroti, we shall give you a tax incentive of this amount of money and years. That way we shall develop our own capacities, but also we shall develop the love for our own products being made by our own people. We only have a challenge that we promote this and we promote the other one. So you are saying Bubu here, but then you are giving tax incentives to the whites when you are taxing the local ones. So then the person also doing local investment says, why should I struggle? Let me go buy the Chinese. You saw the other day we had Chinatown. They had to close the place.
Which was causing a very...
Ask yourself what is in Chinatown that is not in downtown Chikugo. It's the same thing. The person just picked because they know the Chinese must have brought cheap things. But the cheap things, the ones you are saying, have their own effects.
Yeah.
So we need, as a country, we need to be intentional in supporting our own local content, promote it, give it tax incentives, give it more financing, and then you'll see substituting import substitution will be automatic. Someone will not go to buy from China when he knows he can go to this where there is a tail market is Ruwero. When you can go to Ruwero and buy the same product at least more cheaper. So I thought this is very critical for me to add on.
All right then. Oh, you know that it's time that really it's a challenge to us, but I know that we will always invite them to go to delve into more and more topical discussion. So without wasting time, I want Patricia to make a final recommendation to the viewers. So Patricia, what can you recommend to the viewers? Well, watching you right now.
To our dear viewers, thank you all for watching. It means a lot to us. We believe that you have learned a thing or two, and we would also wish to learn from you in the comment section. Please subscribe, like, comment, and yes, you can share with us what we've left out. I know we've left some stones unturned, but you can turn them as well. And as a Pan-Africanist and a woman who is going for empowerment, I would foster all of us to love our country. It starts from the love of our country that we shall get up there. Yes, urbanization is here and it's affecting us, but let's not forget that it is opening our eyes to the green environment. It is opening our eyes to sustainable development goals. It is opening our eyes to how we can live better and reduce all the diseases, the cancer, the cholera. So my major thing is, let us love our country. It all starts with a simple thing: dispose of those waste in the right place, not just everywhere. Currently what is on my mind is how we are going to dispose of the rubbish and all these things in the right place. And as a president of a chapter in Makerere University Business School, my first project is really going to be about increasing the number of dustbins in the environment. Yes, because I believe that if we want to see the green all over, we should remove what is not green and place it where it is supposed to be. Yes, the dustbins are there, but I want to increase. I want to see the green booming. Yes, I want to see us plant those trees and be like, this tree was planted by this leader in Makerere University Business School. It might just be a tree to show off or have a name in campus for the meantime, but after years it will contribute to the rainfall totals. Thank you so much for hosting me. I remain Namubiru Patricia, President, PAWO Moves Chapter.
Wow, you have heard she's a Pan-Africanist herself. Just, you don't need even to introduce her more, but you have just seen the passion, how she expressed herself, having that love of Africa. All right, let me go to Arthur. Arthur, your final recommendation to the viewers. Yeah.
Thank you so much, UCTV. It's always a pleasure being here and sharing with you. And today it is a big pleasure because I'm seated with the president.
The president,
you know what it means, eh?
I know.
To get the spillovers of what the president shares. So for me, I think decentralization has been a good shot in terms of addressing the urbanization issue. Maybe there are missed opportunities in decentralization. For instance, if we are sure, for instance, we have 100 and is it now 38 districts? 158, 138 around. I'm not so sure. Every day they are this, and the reason is we were taking services nearer to the people. So if we are taking the services nearer to the people, then the people should not be leaving those services coming to. Maybe there is something we are not doing in those services, health-wise, education-wise. Name them. So we need to be intentional in the services we offer. Secondly, I want to see ourselves focusing on the Kampala city, the capital state authority urban master plan. Let's try it out. It could give us one or two solutions we're looking at. Public transport, uniformed, health facilities, infrastructure, education, name them. I have a feeling that master plan can address some of the things. But other than that, my call and our call as young people who are engaged in climate change initiatives and environmental protection is we are requesting for more government funding. The other day we had a position paper to the mayor, Nakawa division, and all what we are asking for is we want to see a costed budget line on interventions that are aimed at addressing climate change and its issues. We want to see government programs specifically targeting young people who are doing climate change interventions, resilience, adaptation. Did I mention that we have the 13K zone?
Yes.
The slum zones in Kampala?
Yeah.
Chinawataka. They are all Ks. I don't know why. But they are, do you know who is there? The young people. They are working where? They are working in the city in the urban city. Looking for livelihood. They have left their green homes, sold their homes to come and make a living in town. So we need to make sure that our planning is in tandem with the population we have. Other than that, I want to thank you so much, UCTV, and it's always an honor and a privilege being here and sharing with you. Thank you so much.
Wow. dear viewers, I told you that it's only time. But it was an honor to have these people, and I've promised I'm still going to have them next week. Are we going to be there?
It's a pleasure.
This has been an interesting topic that cannot even get done. We could not elaborate everything or explore everything, but I'm promising you that next week Patricia is going to be here, Arthur is going to be here. We'll be going exploring a lot of things with them here at UCTV. As I told you that I promised that we are having very many events which are taking place, that you're going to see these people even being part of those events. I told you that we are having big and better events. That's the UNSDG run, which is coming up in October 24th. We are in a preparation. We are organizing conference, the national conferences. We are going to let you know. We will even be trying to move it around, advertising in all social media pages. Even now, scroll down, you will be seeing that. Just soon we'll be inviting you to participate. And even we have renewable energy conference, which is also going to happen at Munyonyo. All this is for you to gain knowledge, to see what the young people are doing. Because don't say that the government is doing nothing, the young people are doing nothing, but it's you to connect yourself and network. That's the reason why we are here every Wednesday for the environmental dialogue. So, my dear viewers, thank you for sparing your time. As Patricia say that, please drop your comment on the comment section here. Comment, bring up suggestion. Even if you feel like you want to participate in that show, you contact us. Just I like the lady who even raised up a issue that was occurring in our area of jurisdiction. She raised up, and right now we are trying to handle. Please, this show is made for us to look at ourselves. Look at what's happening in your area. If something is not going right, raise to us. We are here to advocate for change, to connect you to the rightful people who can help you out. That's the reason why we carry out this show, because we want this show to create impact in our society. I remain Dickens Ochero, your host at UCTV for the Environmental Talk Show. Thank you. See you next week. Bye-bye.